A quorum being present, the annual town meeting will now come to order. Madam Clerk, has the warrant been properly posted as required by the general laws of the town of Granby?
Yes, it has.
Select Board Chairman, Mr. Sexton, will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us if you feel comfortable.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I start reading today's articles, I'd like to go over some information and some procedures that should help this outdoor, unprecedented town meeting go smoother and faster. Are there people in the cars? Well, for those people in the cars, please turn your radios to 88.3 and you should be able to hear the annual town meeting in your car. When I call for a vote, please hold your card up high outside your window. There are workers monitoring the votes in the parking lot, so if you cannot see me, I can still tally your vote. If you are in your car and would like to discuss a motion, please open your door and stand outside your car so I may recognize you. Once I call you, you must come to the microphone in the front of the parking lot so town members can hear you. And if you are unable to leave your car, I can have a microphone come to you. Now, for those of you who are under the tent, please raise your hand if you would like to discuss a motion. When I recognize you, you can come through the middle aisle, which seems to have shrunk just a little bit with chairs, and come to one of the microphones in the front. When you are done with your question or comment, can you hear me, by the way, with this on? Yes. Is it better without it on? Yes. All right, I'll keep it down. When you're done with your question or comment, you must wipe the microphone down with the wipes that are on the ground and throw the wipe into the barrel that's next to the microphone. Lastly, bathrooms are available in the school. Sitting in the front here, to the far left, is the Finance Committee. And then we have our Select Board. And please note that Mr. Joyce wanted to be here today. However, he was unable to attend and he apologizes. Then we have our Town Administrator and our Town Attorney. And to my right is our Town Clerk. Whether you are in your car or in the tent, if I recognize you to discuss a motion, please proceed to the closest mic and state your name and address. We are recording this, so we need to know your name and address. It's a legal meeting. If you are unable to come to the mic, please raise your hand and I can have a mic come to you. As usual, please direct all your comments and your questions to me, the moderator, and not to a particular person or members of town meeting. Lastly, please note in your handout, you have a few new things this year. You have a consent agenda explanation, which is new for us this year. And you also have the Finance Committee Capital Expenditures book. And what's new about that book this year is there are the warrant articles with short explanations as to what they mean. So 88.3 is not broadcasting. So when we tested it, it was, but hold on. Can that person hear me? If you are in your car, can you hear me right now without the 88.3? You can?
Only those that can hear. Only those that can hear it.
If,
Are they picking it up in the truck?
you have to turn your volume way up to hear the 88.3. Are you hearing it?
Yeah.
All right, I have thumbs up from people.
Yeah.
The moderator will now recognize Mr. Libera of the Finance Committee to speak. And actually, nobody up front's going to come up to the podium. They're going to sit at their tables with their microphones. So that's a little different this town meeting. So Mr. Libera is over here.
Excuse me, I thought that we had agreed that we would try to make this meeting as short as possible. Okay. And so we're not going to give a traditional kind of speech. It's just to say that basically to be able to satisfy what the bylaws of the town are, I want you to know that the Finance Committee has approved of everything that's in here for which we are supposed to consider, with the exception of 3 are the warrant articles, which we'll discuss at the time that they're presented. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we are beginning Article 1. And Article 1 this year is a new procedure for us. It is called the consent agenda. You have a document, again, in your handouts that explains it. And the purpose of the consent agenda is to save time by dispensing with the reading and the voting of individual articles that can be expected to pass overwhelmingly. And instead, we're going to vote them all together in one vote. I will call out each article in the consent agenda, and you will hear a short explanation of what that article is. If you have a question about that article, and you believe that you want debate or a separate vote on that specific article, please raise your card and yell "hold." I will then remove that article from the consent agenda and restore it to its original place on the warrant. When I've gone through all the articles on the consent agenda, whatever is left is what we will vote on as one vote. If a majority of town meeting votes in favor of all the articles in the consent agenda, they will all be considered passed through one vote. Are there any questions on the consent agenda before I start reading the articles? All right. So, for Article 1, the consent agenda. Article 1A. Mr. Martin, can you read the explanation?
This article allows the Select Board to be able to sell property taken under tax foreclosure process, to apply for grants, accept them, and spend them, and to sign Chapter 90 contracts with the state for fiscal year 2021.
Article 1B.
This article sets the rate of compensation for the Cemetery Commission, the Board of Assessors, and the Board of Health for fiscal year 2021.
Article 1C.
This article sets the fee for the Conservation Commission that they can charge for site inspections when necessary.
Article 1D.
This article accepts the perpetual care fees collected by the cemetery commissioners for calendar year 2019.
Article 1E.
This article is the annual authorization of all the town revolving funds as listed in the town bylaws and required by state statute.
Article 1F.
This article allows the various departments to enter into contracts and agreements with another governmental agency to provide a service that a department is unable to provide.
Article 1G.
This article is to be in compliance with the ethics law. As Select Board members are appointed to committees that report to them, the Select Board, we need town meeting approval to allow this to occur.
Article 1H.
This article sets the pay rates for non-union employees for the period July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021.
Article 1I.
This article is to pay the assessment to Pathfinder Vocational School, of which the town is a member community and sends students to.
Article 1J.
This article allows the town to spend burning permit fees collected in FY20 and FY21 by the forest warden.
Article 1K.
This article accepts the Chapter 90 allocation for fiscal year 2021 as determined by the state.
Article 1L.
This article is an attempt to fund the town's post-employment benefits liability. As of June 30th, 2019, this liability is $25,713,292. The proposed funding source is tax levy.
So no one called out any holds, so the consent article will be as written. So the moderator will now call on Mr. Martin for a motion for the consent agenda.
I move that the town approve Article 1A through 1L.
Can I have a second? So this calls for a motion, a majority vote to pass. So all those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Anybody opposed? Our first consent agenda passed unanimously. The moderator will now recognize Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 2.
I move the town vote to transfer from free cash $14,000 for the purpose of funding the purchase of storage containers.
Second?
This article
Good.
is for the purchase of storage containers to be able to store records that are currently located in the pavilion at the old library. So that space can become a covered workspace for the Public Buildings Department. The proposed fund, it is from free cash.
Any discussion?
Madam Moderator?
Go ahead.
I'd like to,
Can you name and,
John Libera for the Finance Committee. I'd like to make a motion. Madam, I move that Article 2 be postponed indefinitely.
all right, so Mr. Libera has made a motion to postpone indefinitely, and what this motion does is it actually pulls the article out from the town meeting, so we do not discuss it or vote on it. Actually, we can discuss it, but we won't vote on it. So do I have a second for the article to postpone? A motion to postpone. I have a second. So is there discussion on the motion to postpone? I'm sorry, yes, the motion to postpone Article 2.
Madam?
Go ahead, Mr. Libera.
The Finance Committee spent a lot of time on the 3 articles, and this is the first one which we have objected to. Basically, we feel that this is just throwing money away. Moving paper records from one place to another instead of approaching the problem directly of what to do about records. Paper records are a thing of the past, and we need to change to electronic media whenever and wherever possible. We have paper records in multiple locations, taking up space and probably rotting away. There are some legal requirements for some paper, and some of it is under our control, for example, to change some bylaws from town. Saving and storing all paper is not a good approach. If you are a business owner or involved with the business, you know this. If you know someone who is a business owner or involved in a business, ask them. They know this. This article is tied up with another article to spend money to make offices in the old library. This was originally a plan for a town planner and grant writer, but it has been dropped in this budget. The idea converted to creating a workspace for public services in the old library. This is not needed and will be discussed later. We suggest leaving this open, that is to say, what's the purpose of having it be postponed indefinitely, because actually converting the records and saving only the minimum amount of paper is what is needed and should be developed as a plan first before anything like this is discussed in town. This takes a long time to get to the ins and outs of. We spent a lot of time in the Finance Committee. We spent a lot of time talking with the Select Board about it. And we just do not believe that you get an adequate explanation of what is involved with this in a meeting that is as short as this one is going to be. So we recommend that you vote in favor of postponing this and bringing it up at another time. We'll certainly have another town meeting.
Is there any other discussion on the motion to postpone? So we're going to vote on the motion to postpone. It's a majority to pass. And basically what you're voting on now, you are saying, I don't want to take any action on this article. So all those in favor of the motion to put, and if it's defeated, we go back to the article and vote on the article itself. So right now we're voting on the motion to postpone. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? So the motion to postpone passes by a majority, and Article 2 has been postponed. The moderator now calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 3.
I move the town vote to authorize the Select Board to grant an easement over certain town property located at 10 McDonald Avenue to the owner of record for the purposes of access and entering upon said property.
Second. An explanation.
Ivan and Rita Fabricius donated to the town a portion of land known as Parcel A on the plan for the purposes of a cul-de-sac to be built at the end of McDonald Avenue and to be made a part of McDonald Avenue. Unfortunately, due to an oversight, the deed that was recorded failed to reserve the right for the Fabriciuses to use that portion of Parcel A for entry and exit, essentially making the ridge and pond lots landlocked for purposes of marketability and transferability. This issue has just been discovered this spring when the descendants of Ivan and Rita were preparing to sell the ridge lot. This article attempts to correct that oversight.
Thank you. Is there any questions or discussion? In order for this motion to pass, it must pass by a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously. The moderator will now call on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 4.
I move the town vote to authorize the Select Board to grant an easement over certain town property located at 11 McDonald Avenue to the owner of record for the purposes of access and entering upon said property.
Second. Discussion?
The explanation for this article is the same as the previous article for 10 McDonald Avenue.
Any further questions or discussion? Again, this must pass by a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously. The moderator now calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 5.
I move the town vote to rescind the acceptance of Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 42, as voted at the July 8th, 1968 special town meeting.
Second. Explanation.
This article seeks to rescind the law commonly known as the Fire Department Strong Chief Law. The Board of Selectmen, after listening to the comments of the residents of the town, have decided to request a no vote on this article to give them an opportunity to conduct additional forums to explore this article in more depth.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this?
Yes.
Go ahead. Come on up to one of the microphones.
Seamus Connolly, 21 Ferry Hill Road, Granby, Mass.
Seamus, could you keep your mask on at the microphone? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I do, you know what I mean? I think the strong chief law should stay the way it is. We're a small community, and I think it does not need discussion. I think we should throw that amendment out and keep it the way it is. Can anybody hear me, by the way?
Yes.
I think it should just stay the way it is. We're a small community. We do not need We do not need this kind of, you know what I mean, this kind of thing on the fire chief or the police. I don't agree with it, and I think it should be amended out and stay the way it is, as it was intended in 1968.
All right, thank you. Further discussion? So in order for Article 5 to pass, we must have a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes by a majority.
They originally were going to make a motion to withdraw the article and allow discussion on that, but you can't just do that.
Sorry. The motion under Article 5 fails by a majority. Yeah, I have my parliamentary procedure mixed up there.
For discussion.
All right, now the moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 6.
I move the town vote to rescind the acceptance of Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 97A, as voted at the March 12, 1974 annual town meeting.
Second, explanation.
This article seeks to rescind the law commonly known as the Police Department Strong Chief Law. Again, after listening to the residents, the Board of Selectmen is requesting a no vote on this article, pending additional information being obtained by the board.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion under Article 6, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? So the motion fails by a majority. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 7.
I move the town vote to transfer from free cash $150,000 for the purpose of funding tree removal.
Second, explanation.
This article will fund the tree removal project for trees that are hazardous and create power outages or road blockages during an extreme weather event.
Any further discussion? This motion must pass by a majority. All those in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 8.
I move the town vote to transfer from free cash $200,000 for the purpose of funding Highway Department paving operations.
Second, explanation.
This article is to fund paving operations for town roads. With the state having yet to sign the Chapter 90 bond bill, the town does not wish to lose out on the current construction season in addressing its roads.
Any comments or discussion? This motion must pass by a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 9.
I move the town vote to transfer from free cash $32,000 for the purpose of funding the cost of computers for the police department.
Second, explanation.
This article is for the replacement of the server in the police department.
Are there any comments or discussion? In order for this motion to pass, it must pass by a majority. All those in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 10.
I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $36,800 for the purpose of funding the tuition for Smith Vocational and Agricultural High School students.
Second, okay. And explanation.
This article is for the tuition of 2 students who are attending Smith Vocational School, as Pathfinder does not offer these courses.
Any questions or comments? This must pass by a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 11.
I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $51,345 for the purpose of funding the purchase of a marked cruiser for the police department.
Second, explanation.
This article is to fund a new police cruiser for the police department. This is an annual purchase for the town.
Any questions or comments? This must pass by a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Anyone opposed? Please raise your card if you are opposed. The motion passes by a majority. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 12.
I move the town vote to borrow in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7, Clause 1, $220,000 for the purpose of purchasing a dump truck for the Highway Department.
Second, explanation.
This article is for the purchase of a new dump truck for the Highway Department.
Short and sweet. Any comments? Come on up.
Are we required by state law to purchase it or no? Can we oppose it?
You can answer it.
No, we are not required to purchase the dump
Oh.
truck.
Okay, then I say we do not. I say that we save some money and not purchase it. That's just my opinion. I want to save some tax dollars.
Thank you. Come on up.
Dave DeRozier, 32 Bags Hill Road. I'm on the highway superintendent. We have to replace our trucks. The truck we're replacing is over 20 years old. Most communities replace them at 12 to 15. We've already done a number of repairs on this truck. We had to replace the floor. It's an all-season body with a sander. You drop more sand before it gets out to the road because you could put your hand through the body. It's just the maintenance expense is getting outrageous in some of these vehicles, and I think we need to keep up with a routine replacement on all of these vehicles. Money doesn't go away. Salt's $70 a ton. We can't afford to lose it on the road.
Thank you, Dave. Dave, would you mind wiping off that microphone before you leave? We didn't realize how loud that was going to be, so I'm sorry. Any other discussion? All right, in order for this motion to pass, it must pass by a 2/3 vote. So all those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously and thus by a 2/3 vote. The moderator now calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 13.
I move the town vote to borrow in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7, Clause 1, $115,000 for the purpose of funding the purchase of a mower for the Public Buildings Department.
Second, explanation.
This article is for the purchase of a new mower for the fields at Dufresne Park, Brown Ellison Park, and the high school athletic fields.
Questions or discussion?
Madam Moderator? Madam Moderator?
Yeah, I see you. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion. I move that Article 13 be postponed indefinitely.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So, just like the previous article, Mr. Libera is asking us to kill this article and not vote on it in today's meeting. The motion to postpone. So I'll now open up the floor to a discussion on the motion to postpone. Go ahead.
Like the previous objection, this is to put this off until there's time for a more thorough discussion and study of the issue. The current mower we have was authorized 8 years ago for $54,000. The new mower that's requested, $115,000. Well, what about inflation? I'm glad you asked. Over the 8 years, the total inflation has been 12.34%. Or in other words, the equivalent cost of what was bought 8 years ago would be $60,664. What about the extra $54,336 for this mower? Well, there are a number of things. There's probably more than this, but first of all, it's a 16-foot mower instead of 14-foot mower, which is bigger than most golf course mowers. It has an enclosed cab. It's air conditioned. And what else? If you design a mower from a blank sheet, you're probably going to get a Mercedes, and this is apparently what we are getting here for $115,000. Now, we're not asking it to be killed today at the meeting. We're asking this to be postponed because they probably, in fact, do need a new motor. Repairs of $6,000 a year will only take you 10 years to make up the difference in cost, but this is clearly not the mower that is needed. This is not the time to be spending $115,000 on an air-conditioned mower. So we ask that you postpone this indefinitely and go back and be studied as to what an appropriate mower would be for the uses that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
Jeremy Carrier, 2 Phillips Circle, also the supervisor for facilities. At this time, I would say this is the best time for us to purchase this mower. There's no better time, as we have already in-depthly studied what we would need required for to do the job properly at each of our facilities. Unfortunately, we are not getting the Cadillac of all of the mowers. We've done studies with it to actually go through the purchasing agreements that we could have with the state. This mower is actually not a $115,000 mower, it's a $144,439 mower, but after our discounts with the state, we were actually able to get it for the $114,106 plus all the other handling charges. For those that are not familiar, as Mr. Martin had read out, we have large properties to mow with this mower. We are not a golf course. Unfortunately, we are a moving, very mobile all the time organization. Our department has to go from property to property with a mower. That means multiple loading and unloadings of a vehicle, which also puts more wear and tear on the equipment. We have this large property here, the high school, the front, all the athletic fields. We have Dufresne's Park, and then we also have Brown Ellison at the other end of town.
Can you hear Jeremy in the back? Okay. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. So with all those large properties, we want to make sure that we can maintain it. The current one is 14. We're going 2 feet wider because currently for the brand that we're looking for, it doesn't come in that 14, it's a 16. So we have a bonus of 2 feet, which of course will overlap as we're mowing. The current mower that we have is a Jacobson. It is 8 years old. It currently was provided with air conditioning and with a cab, but is non-functional most of the time. The air conditioning constantly goes out. We are looking for something that somebody can mow for a continuous 8-hour shift and not be fatigued, which then fatigue will cause a person to have lack of judgment, vision issues. So we're looking for something that they can safely mow, not hit into things which would cause more damage and more cost to the town. With this, we did research what there could be for used vehicles, both with MTE and Turf Products, and also with All Power in town. This was what we decided to be the best cost effective at this time. Inflation rates, as you say, may have gone up 12% overall with things. We have other tariffs and things that have put into play. And also prices have not increased in 2 years on most of these because they were locked in. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. Come on up. Mr. Nally, why don't you come over here to this microphone while he's cleaning?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Steve Nally, 31 Pleasant Street. I would urge the town meeting to decline the motion to postpone indefinitely by the Finance Committee and ultimately approve this article. Basically, department heads do a very good job in terms of vetting out what they need to do their job properly. This process has also been vetted out by the Capital Needs Improvement Committee and approved, the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator. I think to suggest that the mower as presented is frivolous is both misleading and unfair.
Thank you. Come on up, Mr. DeRozier.
Dave DeRozier, 32 Baggs Hill Road, Highway Superintendent. This mower's not under my department any longer. It used to be. But the Finance Committee made a big deal out of the air conditioning on this vehicle, and I think it's their lack of understanding of the current regulations. The new regulations a year ago put all employees on notice that we have to protect our employees, from hazards such as silica, dust, which is sand. There is almost no vehicle that comes through nowadays without air conditioning. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity to protect against lawsuits. And I think it runs the cost up a little bit, yes, but that's the way it is.
Thank you. Hey, Dave. Dave, could you clean the mic? Thank you. Are there any further questions on the motion to postpone?
Madam Moderator.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. LeBaron.
Thank you. We hope it didn't imply that this was frivolous. If we had thought that it was frivolous, then we would have just suggested that you vote this thing down. But we do say that whatever else we think about, this is a lot of money for this time. It is very easy. A number of you who have been involved in any businesses know that it's pretty easy to put together a group of people to construct exactly what it is you want and justify it. And we believe that that is probably certainly what has happened. We believe they did do a lot of work in looking at this. But the bottom line is that $115,000, just 8 years after we spent $54,000, does not seem like it's appropriate for now. We ask that this be postponed and it be a little thoroughly discussed and further examined by a group of people from outside just the working departments, and then brought back to town for appropriate discussion. Thank you.
So I'm going to call the vote on the motion to postpone. I think we've heard both sides of the argument. So we're going to vote on the motion to postpone. All those in favor to postpone the motion to postpone, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? So the motion to postpone fails by a majority. So now we will go back to discussing the motion under Article 13.
Madam Moderator, I move the question.
Wait, I'm sorry. Someone speaking? Can you raise your hand? Oh, okay.
I would like to move the question.
So I have a motion to move the question, which means this person wants to stop debate and vote on the motion. So in order for me to do that, I need 2/3 majority of people agreeing with him. So all those in favor of voting and moving the question, thank you. Any opposed? You're opposed, so the motion passes by a 2/3. So we will now vote on the lawnmower. I need 2/3 to pass this motion. So all those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes by a 2/3 majority. The moderator now calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 14.
I move the town vote to borrow, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7, Clause 1, $52,000 for the purpose of funding the purchase of a transit for the Public Buildings Department.
Second, explanation?
This article is for the purchase of a transit cargo vehicle for the Public Buildings Department. The department currently does not have a covered vehicle to move cleaning equipment, supplies, and voting equipment between buildings. This will allow for the movement in both good and bad weather of said equipment and supplies.
Any further questions or discussion? In order for this motion to pass, it must pass by a 2/3 majority. All those in favor? Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes by a 2/3 majority. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 15.
I move the town vote to transfer from free cash $14,800 for the purpose of funding construction at the old library building.
Second. Explanation.
This article is for construction work at the old library. This article will fund the building of office space in the basement of the library and run power to the pavilion.
Any further discussion or comments? Mr. Libera?
John Libera for the Finance Committee. Madam, I move that Article 15 be postponed indefinitely.
So we have another motion to postpone. It would be for Article 15. Is there any discussion on the motion to postpone? I'll let John start, and then Jeremy can come forward.
Thank you. An experiment was tried a couple of years ago by joining forces from the schools and the public services and using the school space for their workspace. It didn't work out, and now public services needs some workspace outside the schools. There's no question about that. But we do not believe that this library space is needed for this purpose. There is, in fact, plenty of room in the Highway Department building. We've discussed this with a number of people. The Highway Department has had the highway building virtually to itself for a couple of years. And we've been told that the space is somewhat cluttered and need to be cleaned up, and appropriate procedures for the two departments have to be worked out. But the groups do get along, and no one really likes changes. But there is an appropriate amount of space in the highway building, we've been told so, and the other issues can be worked out. However, we do suggest that we leave this open because if the record storage question is developed properly, the basement space could be renovated for needed meeting rooms or possibly offices as Select Board brings back its request for a planner and grant writer. In short, we don't think it should be discussed at this meeting, but should be brought back at a future meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up, Jeremy.
Jeremy Carrier, 2 Phillips Circle, and again, facility supervisor. I do think that it's great that the Finance Committee has changed their response to the departments getting along. After watching many of the meetings that we saw from the Finance Committee, it was believed before that there was actually a issue between the facilities department, the highway department, or any other one. I find that we do get along really, really well. I find that we're able to work as a group together, but I strongly disagree with the committee's decision thinking that the highway department has ample room. It is cluttered, yes, but I think to be uncluttered will still not change the fact that we are having 2 different type of storage for the areas. Our buildings need their own independent areas to facilitate our needs. For them to do work on equipment properly, they don't need another department bringing all their items through so they can work on a workbench or to store on their things, their items. So I really ask that the town think about this, about having this vote so that we could properly do the areas that we need so we can independently work. And when needed, we can come together to work together to be one community, one town, and to really form that bond that we need. But in the meantime, to support each other, I think we actually need that little bit of distance while working. And the area that's below the library with the pavilion that we were talking about as well, which with the records being moved, would facilitate that without having to build another building, without having to do a strong renovation. This would be something minor. It's more electrical, same as the office space. We have to think that, yes, right now, those 2 positions that were discussed earlier were not being filled for upstairs, but that's something that's going to be looked at again very shortly, I'm soon. And if we do this work now, it's not something that we're looking at later while we have other financial burdens of the town. We won't then have to come back with 50 articles. We can try to reduce that, take care of it now, and meet the needs now. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Come on up.
Seamus Connolly, 21 Fairhill Road. I do, you know what I mean? I agree 100% that we should, you know what I mean, that we should move, what was the article?
15.
I believe we should postpone Article 15, and move it to the, you know what I mean, and move it to the Highway Department because we do not know what kind of economy we're gonna have. We don't know what's gonna happen 2 to 3 or 4 years from now. So I would just suggest that we move it to the Highway Department and just, because I really, you know what I mean, we really can't be spending money like drunks at the Legion.
Thank you, Seamus. Would you mind wiping off the microphone?
Yes, I would.
Thank you. Any other comments on the motion to postpone? So let's vote it. All those in favor of postponing Article 15, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion to postpone fails by a majority. So now we will talk about, if anybody has anything else to say, the motion under Article 15. All right, we will vote on the motion. In order for it to pass, it must pass by a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes by a majority. The moderator now calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 16.
I move the town vote to transfer from free cash $5,000 for the purpose of joining the Pioneer Valley Mosquito Control District.
Second. Explanation.
This article will allow the town to become a member of the Pioneer Valley Mosquito Control District. This will allow us to have sampling and testing done in town for West Nile virus and Triple E. This is requested by the Board of Health.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Come on up.
Sharon Libera, 139 Taylor Street. Is this an annual expense or a one-time expense? What will the expenses be going forward? It sounds like something we must do to get to join the commission, but I'd like to know what we're getting in for here. Thank you.
The $5,000 is an initial fee to join the district, okay? After that, we will receive an assessment through our cherry sheet numbers for the cost, our share of the cost of operating the district.
Do we have any idea what that annual cost might be and what services we'd receive for that? If you could just tell us a little more about what they do, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I think maybe Dick Bombardier could explain what services will be received. As to the exact amount of the assessment, I can't give that to you at this point because I'm not sure what the cost would be for the increase of us joining the district at this point in time.
Hello, Mr. Moderator. I'm Dick Bombardier from the Board of Health, 48 Ferry Hill Road. Chris is correct. This $5,000 is a one-year fee. The district is pretty young right now, but $5,000 looks to be the annual fee for assessments. The district does not provide spraying, and the town is in full control of what it chooses to buy. And coming into this district, town meeting has to approve it. If we choose to get out of the district, town meeting can say, let's get out of it. But the $5,000 looks to be what the annual fee will end up for the testing. And at this point, we don't anticipate that we'll ask for more than testing in the future. This testing allows us to know if this virus is in the town, and we can increase our vigilance if we see it. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Madam.
Doc Abelson, do you want to speak? All right. John?
John Libera for the Finance Committee. We looked into this a little bit, and the thing that gave us some comfort is knowing that You can, in fact, back out of this at any time that you want. This is not a permanent commitment. On a year-to-year basis, you can decide whether to stay in it or to do something else. So we're in favor of this for the year. Thank you.
Thank you. In order for this motion to pass, it must pass by a majority. All those in favor? Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes by a majority. The moderator now calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 17.
I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $470,491 to operate the municipal solid waste department. Wages, $5,000. Expenses, $465,491. Total, $470,491. And that $24,500 be raised from municipal solid waste receipts, $112,950 be raised from retained earnings, and $333,041 be raised from tax levy.
Second? Explanation?
This article is to fund the curbside collection program in town. It also funds the cost of bringing our recyclables to the Springfield Material Recycling Facility and bringing our waste to the incinerator located in Agawam.
Thank you. Further discussion? This must pass by a majority. All those in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 18.
I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $238,827 to operate the sewer department. Wages, $10,560. Expenses, $169,967. Debt, $58,300. Total, $238,827. And that $226,527 be raised from sewer receipts and $12,300 be raised from retained earnings.
Second. Explanation?
This article is to fund the operations of the sewer department in town.
Thank you. Further comments? This must pass by a majority. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 19.
I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $386,878 to operate the ambulance department. Wages, $247,221. Expenses, $73,065. Capital, $13,500. Debt, $53,092. Total, $386,878. And that $315,878 be raised from ambulance receipts and $31,000 be raised from retained earnings. And that the ambulance director's salary shall not exceed $25,000 for fiscal year 2021.
Second. Explanation?
This article will fund the operations of the ambulance department for fiscal year 2021.
Thank you. Comments? This motion must pass by a majority. All those in favor? Thank you. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. The moderator will now call on Mr. Libera to present the motion under Article 20. And for this article, we'll present the first item, and then the rest of the items we'll present in blocks.
Thank you. I move the town vote to raise and appropriate such sums of money as may be necessary to defray the expense of the town, including debt and interest for the ensuing year, and to carry out any vote passed under this article. Item 1 is school department. Now, in your booklets, there is a misprint on the motions that gives an incorrect figure on the expenses. It's printed correctly, though, in the formal booklet, and I'll read the correct version. School department, personal services, $6,602,670. Expenses, $1,117,887. A total of $7,720,557.
Second. Any discussion or questions on that part?
Madam Moderator?
Go ahead.
This is the budget that is the school itself spends. There are additional amounts of money that we spend in town on the schools. The total this year is $10,626,095, and that's spread out through a number of departments for the town contribution to various things. The retired teachers' health insurance is about $441,000 and a couple other small things. So there's been, I believe, pretty fair agreement between all the parties that were involved about the school budget for this year. Thank you.
Thank you. So all those in favor of passing item 1, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Item 1 passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Libera to present items 2 through 5.
Thank you. Item 2, same motion for the school department, transportation, $838,838.
Keep reading.
That was actually for the school busing. Item 3, same motion, moderator, salary $175, expenses $75, total $250. Item 4, same motion, selectmen. Now this is read as selectmen. It's more than just the selectmen department's budget. This includes the budgets for the selectmen, the computer systems, and the legal operations. Selectmen, salary $9,993. Personal services, $207,554. Expenses, $161,042. Capital outlay, $15,990. The total is $394,579. Item 5, same motion, Finance Committee expenses, $1,890.
Second. Any discussion or questions on items 2, 3, 4, or 5? Come on up.
Anthony Serini, 3 Cedar Drive. Just on the transportation portion, was there any change in the contract or monies expended during this fiscal year with the corona, with the decrease in transportation? And is there any impact next year with the transportation?
I think we asked someone from the school department to come. I do know this, that from the budget that was first looked at back in March, this is a reduction from the cost that was figured at that point. So there's been some discussion. But maybe somebody from the school department or somebody from the school committee can answer the question.
So someone is coming forward from the school department.
Madam Moderator, Emery Evren, 18 Crescent Street. I'm the chairperson of the school committee. On this one, if the town meeting approves, I would like to invite our finance director to give the details. He's not a town resident, so you may need a vote on that.
So we would like to have town meeting's permission to allow a non-resident to speak at town meeting, who is our business manager for the schools?
Finance director.
Finance director. So all those in favor of allowing him to speak, please raise your cards. Thank you. We have the majority. Come on up, please.
Morning, thank you. Adam Tarquini, Director of Finance for School Department. So to touch base for the FY20, we did negotiate with Chris's help and approval some reduction in rates for FY20 transportation due to the coronavirus. So without getting into the details, we will be returning about $190,000 worth of transportation money for FY20 back to the town. For FY '21, we were in a little bit of an interesting situation. The bid for FY '21 was going on while we were in the coronavirus pandemic. So these numbers that are approved in this article were presented and bid on during the pandemic. So as we work through all this, those numbers will most likely change. We are just in the process of going through those numbers now.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Would you mind wiping that off? So I'm going to call each one individually to vote. All those in favor of item 2, please raise your cards. Thank you. Any opposed? Passed by a majority. I'm sorry, unanimously. All those in favor of items 3, please raise your card. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Item 3 passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 4, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. And all those in favor of item 5, please raise your cards.
Thank you.
Thank you. Opposed? Item 5 passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Libera to present the items 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Thank you. Same motion. Item 6, the town accountant, and I believe this is for both the town accountant and for the audit that we have done every year. Town accountant, personal services, $30,000. Expenses, $27,050. Total, $57,050. Item 7, the same motion. The assessors, salary, $11,442. Personal services, $29,316. Expenses, $20,511 for a total of $61,269. Item 8, the same motion, the town treasurer, salary, $51,424. Expenses, $9,800. Total, $61,224. Item 9, the same motion, tax collector, salary, $44,758. Personal services, $11,000. Expenses, $21,190. Total, $76,948.
Thank you. Second. Are there any questions on item 6, 7, 8, or 9? All right. All those in favor of item 6, please raise your cards. Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 7? Thank you. Any opposed? Item 7 passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 8? Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. And then all those in favor of item 9? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Libera to present the the items 10 through 13.
Thank you. Same motion. Number 10, same motion, Personnel Board, expenses $500. Item 11, same motion, Town Clerk, salary $56,391. Personal services $22,644. Expenses $2,565. Total $81,600. Item 12, same motion, Board of Registrars. Personal services $2,000. Expenses $38,325. Total $40,325. Item 13, the same motion, Board of Appeals. Expenses $1,640.
Second. Any questions on items 10 through 13? All right, all those in favor of item 10, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Item 10 passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 11, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 12? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And all those in favor of item 13? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Libera to present the motions 14 through 17.
Thank you. Item 14, same motion, public buildings. Personal services, $219,341. Expenses, $504,767. Capital outlay, $9,500. Total, $733,608. Item 15, the same motion. Police Department, personal services, $1,043,087. Expenses, $59,050. Capital outlay, $1,000. Total of $1,093,137. Item 16, the same motion. Auxiliary police, expenses, $1,920. Item 17, the same motion. Dispatch, personal services, $220,882. Expenses, $35,133. Total, $256,015.
Second. Any discussion or comments on items 14, 15, 16, or 17? All right, all those in favor of item 14? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 15? Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 16? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And then all those in favor of item 17? Thank you. Any opposed? Item 17 passes unanimously. The moderator asks Mr. Libera to present the motions 18 through 21, items 18 through 21.
Thank you. Item 18, the same motion. Fire Department. Personal services, $453,161. Expenses, $46,817. Capital outlay, $50,650. Total, $550,628. And that the fire chief's salary is not to exceed $65,000 for fiscal year 2021. Item 19, same motion. Inspections Department. Personal services, $66,230. Expenses, $23,201. Total, $89,431. Item 20, the same motion. Preventative inspections for the Board of Health. Personal services, $13,525. Expenses, $3,823. Total, $17,348. Item 21, same motion. Sealer of weights and measures. Expenses, $3,700. Thank you.
Second. Any discussion on items 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, or 21? All those in favor of item 18? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 19? Thank you. Any opposed? Passage unanimously. All those in favor of item 20? Thank you. Any opposed? Passage unanimously. All those in favor of item 21? Thank you. Any opposed? Passage unanimously. The moderator will now call on Mr. Libera to present the motions and items 22 through 25.
Thank you. Item 22, the same motion. Emergency management. Expenses, $9,272, the total for the budget. Item 23, the same motion, the Highway Department. Personal services, $392,879. Expenses, $115,950. Maintenance of roads, $344,100. Capital outlay, $5,000, for a total of $857,929. Item 24, the same motion, snow and ice control. Personal services, $75,044. Expenses, $56,000. Maintenance of roads, $122,000. Capital, $20,000, for a total of $273,044. Item 25, same motion, cemetery. Personal services, $23,543. Expenses, $3,734, a total of $27,277.
Second. Are there any comments on items 22, 23, 24, or 25? All those in favor of item 22? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 23? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 24? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And then all those in favor of item 25? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Libera to present the motions for items 26 through 29.
Thank you. Item 26, same motion, Board of Health. Salary, $2,955. Personal services, $28,319. Expenses, $8,484. Total, $39,758. Item 27, same motion, Council on Aging. Personal services, $97,334. Expenses, $4,300. Capital, $5,644, a total of $107,278. Item 28, same motion, Senior Lunch Program. Personal services, $14,924. Item 29, same motion, Veteran Services. Personal services, $13,050. Expenses, $59,200. Total of $72,250.
Thank you. Second? Any questions on items 26, 27, 28, or 29? All right, all those in favor of item 26? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 27? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 28? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And all those in favor of item 29? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. The moderator now calls on Mr. Libera to present the motions of items 30 through 33.
Thank you. Item 30, same motion, the Public Library. Personal services, $155,723. Expenses, $50,317,000, less the grant and aid of $9,995, net expenses of $40,322, and the total budget of $196,045. Item 31, same motion, Historical Commission, expenses $250. Item 32, same motion, Retirement of Debt, the principal on permanent debt, $514,200. Item 33, the same motion, Interest, $472,638.
Thank you.
Thank you. Second.
I wasn't expecting that.
Any questions on items 30, 31, 32, or 33? All those in favor of item 30, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 31? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 32? Thank you. Any opposed? Passage unanimously. And all those in favor of item 33? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Libera to present the motions for items 34 through 37.
Thank you. Item 34, same motion, Casualty and Liability Insurance, $250,016. Item 35, same motion, County Retirement, $1,206,423. Item 36, the same motion, Workers' Compensation, $169,643. Item 37, same motion. Municipal governments, zero. We no longer belong to the. Thank you.
Second. Any comments on items 34 through 37? All those in favor of item 34, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 35? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All those in favor of item 36? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And all those in favor of item 37? Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. The moderator will now call on Mr. Libera to finish his motion for Articles 38 through 40.
Thank you. Item 38, same motion, unemployment compensation, $52,568. Item 39, same motion, group health and life insurance, $1,543,187. Item 40, same motion, reserve fund, $130,000 for a total budget of $18,019,159. Thank you.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion on items 38, 39, or 40? All right, all those in favor of item 38, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Item 39, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. And please raise your cards for item 40. Thank you. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. The moderator will now call on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 21.
I move the town vote to transfer from the capital equipment needs stabilization fund $99,200 for the purpose of reducing the funding from tax levy for fiscal year 2021 appropriation.
Second.
Second.
Explanation?
This article is to cover the debt service on purchases that were approved by the Capital Improvement Committee in prior years.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments on this motion? In order for this motion to pass, it must pass by a 2/3 majority. So all those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Any opposed? The motion passes by a 2/3 majority unanimously. The moderator now calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 22.
I move the town vote to transfer from account number 30-122-5801-000 bond premiums to be applied $13,306.98 for the purpose of reducing the funding from tax levy for fiscal year 2021 appropriations.
Second.
Second.
Explanation?
When the town borrowed for the East Meadow building project, when the bids came in, there was a bond premium. Per Department of Revenue regulations, this premium must be amortized over the life of the loan to reduce the amount to be raised by the debt exclusion vote.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All right. In order for this to pass, it must pass by a majority. All those in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 23.
I move the town vote to transfer from free cash $1,081,950 for the purpose of reducing the funding from tax levy for fiscal year 2021 appropriations.
Second. Explanation.
This article is to subsidize the budget to offset projected reduction in state aid due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Any further comments or discussion? Come on up. One second, please. I'll say.
Thomas Michelle, 140 Carver Street. I just want to know how much money is in free cash right now. Thank you.
you know.
Mr. Rossell. Right here. Originally, this amount would have wiped out free cash completely. We had 1,400,000. Our original balance was $1,497,750. This would have completely used that amount up. However, the $14,000 article for the containers did not pass, so it would leave $14,000 in the free cash account. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? So this must pass by a majority. All those in favor? Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously. The moderator calls on Mr. Martin to present the motion under Article 24.
I move the town vote to assess the amounts raised and appropriated under these articles and warrants on the estates and personal property of the town of Granby.
Second. Explanation.
This article allows the assessors to issue tax bills to the town taxpayers of Granby.
Are there any questions? All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Before I dissolve the the annual town meeting, I just meant to say something earlier, which is that if you are interested in serving on the Finance Committee, please, you can call me, Lynn Mercier. My number's in the phone book, if you still use the phone book. Or you can call Kathy, the town clerk, or the town administrator, and they will contact me. We are looking for people, so you can send your resume forward. Thank you. And now the moderator calls for a motion to dissolve the quickest annual town meeting you will ever sit at.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
I need a majority. All those in favor? Thank you.
Lynn, thank everybody, the fire department and the police
And
for
I would
helping.
also like to thank all the people here that helped us make this safe as possible, the fire department and the police department. Thank you very much.
Thank the residents
And thank you for coming out.